Welcome to Focus on Seniors, a television show sponsored by Helping Seniors of Brevard County, Florida. The show is designed to make you aware of senior issues, needs, and resources available to help us age in place and with dignity. This show will help you as you develop your own aging and care plan.
I'm Joe Steckler. Welcome to Focus on Seniors, a television arm of Helping Seniors of Brevard County, a show designed to provide you with information on how to develop your own aging and care plan. Our topic today is Helping Seniors of Brevard County. And with me in the studio are our Vice President, Dr. Lee Sheldon. Welcome, Dr. Sheldon.
Thank you, Joe.
And Dr. Sheldon is with Solid Bite Dental Implants. And you'll see him on several shows. My other panelist is Nancy Deardorff. Nancy is a registered nurse, and she is the area manager for Gentiva Healthcare, and she is another of our board members. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm glad to have you both here. And I'll set the stage, folks, because I think it's important that we try to understand how organizations evolve, how we develop visions and mission statements, how we as board members try to do the very best we can to see how we can do the best job possible to help develop a plan to help people that do their very, very best to have a good care plan as they age and how they try to age with dignity. And that's why we picked the name, Helping Seniors of Brevard County. The organization, folks, has been in existence about a year and a half now. We started about a year and a half ago, and I think I started the dialogue with the two of you before I did anybody else. And we decided a long time ago, and both of you have been with me on our newspaper column, our radio shows, our television show. Nancy, you've been with me on the radio for a long time, a number of years. Mm-hmm. But it's the expertise that you bring to this type of show, this type of organization, that makes it important for people to understand why we try to do what we do. I think it's pretty much obvious in the political arena that most people don't want the government telling them how to develop a care plan or an aging plan. We want to do it ourselves. Dr. Sheldon, when I talked to you about this, what was your initial opinion of an organization called Helping Seniors of Brevard County?
Well, I think one thing that came through loud and clear was the fact that it's difficult, both for a senior and for the person who's taking care of the senior, to understand and to know, number one, what services that person needs, and number two, how you find those services. The second thing that was really clear is that in order to provide the services for an aging population, the baby boomers are getting older. Right. We're becoming the retirees, and we're becoming the seniors, or we've already become the seniors. That in fact, we already know that the government is not going to be able to provide all of the services that we need, even if they could. There just isn't enough money for it. Yet, there are funds available from private foundations, funds available from governmental sources that we can access if we know how to do it the right way. And the problem here is Brevard County, well, it's not the problem. One of the nice things about Brevard County is that we have excellent support programs available, but they need to be funded better. And through the experiences of those of us who are on the board and who are part of Helping Seniors of Brevard County, and now that we have organizations involved, we have the ability to access funds that others don't. And so our goal is to make sure that if you're a senior, you feel that you're real fortunate to be living in Brevard County, because we'll be able to help you provide the services you need.
Why didn't you say that at the last board meeting? Huh? I'm all joking. You have said it. Nancy?
Well, I couldn't have put that any better. I think that was I agree with you. That should be the mission from last week's board meeting. But, you've heard me say this before. As a registered nurse for many years, I've worked hospital systems, I've worked skilled nursing facilities, and the majority of my career has been spent in home health. And what we see oftentimes in home health is what other seniors throughout the county and indeed the country are experiencing, not just our patients, but that is, we go in there for a particular diagnosis, heart failure. We send a nurse in or a therapist in. But what we find more often than not is that patients and their families, the adult children taking care of these seniors, don't know how to access information or even who to go to and who to call for information that they need. One of my famous statements is, how do you know what you don't know? How do you ask a question if you don't know what to ask? And most of our home health patients and indeed seniors don't seek out help for a particular situation until they're in it. Okay, so, right. I experienced that myself as an adult child of somebody with dementia. My father, dementia is very insidious, and my father coped with that for years. They compensate, and you just think, oh, it's normal forgetfulness of old age, until one day he became a wanderer and wandered away from his apartment. It was like turning off a light switch. One minute he was living independently, the next minute I couldn't leave his side. And I didn't think about that. People don't think about that happening. So I think what the wonderful thing about HSOBC is, it's a educational resource for where people can get help. HSOBC isn't the agency that helps. We help you understand where to get that help. And then, of course, the funding source, which is very important. So we're going to try to, as HSOBC, answer those questions you don't know how to ask, because you haven't asked them yet. And we're going to try to answer that question, how do you know what you don't know? We're going to try to help you find out.
But very important to the whole concept that we're trying to do is that the board we have assembled contains an assortment of people that are involved in health care, God care, if you want to use the word, with Pastor Ray's from Calvary Baptist Church. But we have a wide assortment of people that are involved with the health care, the insurance, the financial, and the medical communities, which direct treatment and care and resources to these people. Now, I have found that every county in Florida is supposed to have a plan for aging. We don't have that plan. We have a commission on aging, but we don't have a written plan that a person could say, this is what we're striving to accomplish. We don't have a short, mid, and long-term strategic plan for how to develop and access senior care, elder care, if you will, in Brevard County, Florida. So 12 years ago, I did my first radio show. And when I did that radio show, it was the third radio show in over 11,000 radio shows in the United States of America that talked about senior issues. Yep. 3 out of 11,000 within a month's time, and I still have it. I had an offer of a contract to move my show to Los Angeles to do a daily 3-hour show 5 days a week. I said, no, I want to stay here. The radio is an important arm to get information out. For many years, Florida Today had a program about seniors that Bard Lindemann, a columnist from Los Angeles, did. And I started asking the people of Florida Today, I said, why don't we have a local column to talk about issues in Brevard County? We're the 24th oldest county in the United States of America in terms of the number of people over the age of 65. But we don't publicize it. It took us 3 years, but we finally got the column in the paper. And Lee, you're one of the writers.
That column is very important. I can't tell you how many people approached me and approached my staff saying, I saw your column. And it's not just that they saw my column. The fact is that we've got a variety of people who write the column Focus on Seniors, which is in the health section of Florida Today, which is now on Thursday. And there is that opportunity for, if you want to learn about something, If you want to learn about access to care, if you want to learn about dental care, you want to learn about geriatric care, you have that educational venue right in Florida today, written by doctors and other individuals, you, for example, Joe, and they're right here. And therefore, if you want to access services, you're not just reading a generic column from someplace else. It's from here, from those people who provide it. And what's impressed me most, since I've been involved in helping seniors of Brevard County, is understanding all of the resources we have available right here. You know, you're pretty lucky to live in Brevard County. We just want to make you luckier.
And we want to do something about, well, what we talked about. I think a key thing in what you said, Dr. Sheldon, was the word resources. There are many types of resources. And Nancy, as a registered nurse and as an administrator for Gentiva Healthcare, certainly you see all these wonderful resources we have being brought to bearing in certain places. And since you have knowledge of all this, you can help people understand it. But think of all the people in the county that don't know about these things.
Exactly. I mean, obviously we're limited in helping a certain amount of the population, and that's the population that are our Gentiva healthcare patients. But there's so many people beyond that. So we're able to help patients and their families sort of navigate through what is it that they need and what resources, what community resources and agencies do we put them in touch with to help them for their short and long-term needs. But I think one of the best things about HSOBC is that's taking what, say, we do at Gentiva and providing those resources, but providing it for the general population, not just patients. And it's so important, more now than ever. We talked about an aging population. We talk about baby boomers coming to retirement. And more often, we see more and more often, rather, patients who are 90 years old with a 65, 70-year-old child that is the caregiver. So you have the elderly taking care of the elderly. And it's stressful. And you have people who have to work. And you have a lot of seniors that live alone and don't have family. And there's so many resources out there. But if they're not accessed, if people don't know about them, what good are they? So that's the concept I like about HSOBC, is putting people in touch with the plethora of resources that are out there, whether it be healthcare resources, financial resources, legal resources, household, putting a wheelchair ramp that goes up to a home, dental care, elder attorneys, whatever the venue may be. I think HSOBC, the concept of it is really good, because you're not looking at a resource center that's just all about healthcare or all about finding a physician or all about financial assistance.
You're looking at everything.
It's finding everything.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to capitalize on what I started on the radio show. We're improving that. We're going to make it more accessible. The people who are helping us with these television shows are going to take the radio shows and package those in a demand channel on our website. So the radio shows will be available with a list of what the topics are for people to tune in and listen to. We'll do the same thing. And this is the lead show on helping seniors of Brevard County. We'll start initially with 60 television shows built into a demand channel, so that if somebody wants to watch one of the dental shows that you and I do, Lee, they'll be able to watch that show, and if they miss clenching or moving a piece of equipment, they can go back and replay it on the website. Where are you going to find that?
The fact is,
it doesn't exist.
You're right. The fact is, this educational arm becomes more and more important as you understand the needs to access some of this care. And I know there are written resources available, but we're in a population that likes to look, that likes to listen. And the fact is, you and I did this program on dental implants. The things that I was able to show here with dental implants, I couldn't write about in the newspaper column. You know, you've got to see it. And this gives you an opportunity to see that. I want to go back to another thing which struck me, Joe, and that was right at the beginning of the show. You talked about the fact that we really don't have an aging plan in Brevard County. And I was thinking, how could I see a patient and not have a treatment plan so that the patient knew, I'm going to do this first, do this second, this third, this fourth, this fifth, with alternative plans available. That's going to be an important part of what we do, or at least what we're going to drive the county to do, because we need to have that plan available. A plan is not set in concrete, but a plan is something that's a written document, a written guideline that can be changed. And we need to have that framework available. That framework has to be there so that we can reference it, we can tweak it, we can change it. And believe me, as we get older, that is going to have to be tweaked, and we're going to have to change it, but there has to be a foundational structure first, a constitution, if you will, so that we have that document available, and then we can work from that.
Robert Wood Johnson Foundation is one of the largest healthcare foundations in the world. They give away literally hundreds of millions of dollars a year to care organizations, nonprofits. One program they have, they give $500,000 grants to nonprofits that have a unique plan with a hospital. Wusthof Hospital, under the new management of HMA Health Management Associates, is one of our sponsors for the new television show that this show today will be part of our website demand channel. But Wusthof recognizes that they need to be more involved with getting good senior care information out. And I just had I did a radio show with some people from Wusthof, and they talked about their new wellness institute, which is something like a 211 number, sort of like One Senior Place, which is a one-stop shopping place for senior needs. But it's all kinds of senior needs. But their wellness center, and what we're sort of advocating is, how do we do a better job of helping seniors stay healthy? How do we provide care for these people? And how do they know where to go for this help and care? So this new wellness effort that I think that Wusthof wants to develop, and we're still trying to flesh it out. And that's the beauty of a board of directors. It's not something that's locked into concrete. In our mission statement, and you revised it, Nancy, for one of our board meetings, and you used the word resources in there. Resources means a lot of things. So I think it's extremely important that an organization that's going to be faced with the problems that today's population is going to be faced with over the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, with shrinking dollars, medical care costs escalating, insurance costs escalating. We need to do something. And you made a comment, Lee, about foundations and government money.
Yeah.
There's also you and me, and you, our listeners, our viewers, that can all be part of making this program work. And the reason one of our goals for this organization is to develop an endowment. But thinking of the collective power of several thousands of the 435 to 40,000 people living in Brevard County, if they contributed to an organization like this and helped be part of a continuing system of helping each other help others.
That's right. And the fact is that once we get, we're always looking for a critical mass of people to participate. Yes, helping seniors of Brevard County has gone a lot farther than it was 14 months ago when we started this. But the fact is that we are getting that critical mass now. When you have a major organization like Wusthof Hospital joining us, we know we're reaching that level. But the fact is that the more involvement, the more community involvement we have from you, the quicker we reach that critical mass. We're going to have opportunities for you to participate. We've got a website, helpingseniors.brevard.com, which you can participate in. And there's going to be other things that we're going to ask you to participate in. Not necessarily financially, although we'd like that money. But we'd also like some participation because we're going to help you take the direction that you need so that you're taken care of well, and that and if you're taking care of your parents right now, so they're taken care of well too. There's nothing worse than just being in a crisis situation and not knowing where to turn. And it's our job to make sure there is a place for you to turn and to provide you with some resources, whether it's the newspaper, whether it's these TV shows, whether it's the radio shows that we do on WMEL, or just us personally, to provide you with the ability to access good care.
Well, I would challenge our viewers to call me at 773-2735 if they can tell me of a place where they've lived where they have a demand channel on senior care programs that they can access and say, I want to know more about hospice, and they push this little electronic button on their website, on our website, that they'll see, and they'll have a show come up on hospice, and it'll slip to showing them what an actual hospice house looks like. Or they can say, I want to know more about interventional pain management or what a chiropractor does, and they see a spine put right on this table, and a chiropractor talks about alignment of the spine. Or where could they go and have a weekly column in the paper done by a nonprofit organization with writers that focus on healthcare, such as a legal person, a dental person, an eye person, a hearing person, and a general person writing about general things. That's me. But you take the newspaper column, these shows, and that radio show, say that's an information network, and that's going to publicize all these things. If Wusthof gets this new Wellness Institute going, we'll publicize that through our radio, television, newspaper effort. Whereas Wusthof, if they did it, they'd have to spend care dollars to get a half-page ad in the newspaper. And I'm not knocking Florida Day, because that's how they make their money. And it's important, because the whole system works if we support each other. We'll have a newspaper if people support it. I happen to support Florida Day because I love the paper. I like it. Newspapers should challenge us to find out more ourselves. And we, as a board, should be able to challenge the people in Brevard County to think about how they can be more involved in developing a plan for the future. I think this is a plan for the future. I think that, well, Nancy, as a nurse, what do you see, and what do your nurses see out in the field in providing skilled nursing care under Medicare? You see other people that don't qualify for Medicare. Do they always have a way to pay for care?
No, they don't, and that's the beauty of HSOBC, trying to kind of fill that void and gap. And although Gentiva or other home care agencies may not be able to service that patient, or that patient doesn't qualify, or that family member, we can put them in touch with those agencies. And it is those very people that fall through the cracks, the people that perhaps aren't 65 and don't have Medicare, or have Medicare but don't qualify for home health. They have too much money, so they don't qualify for state assistance, but they don't have enough money to pay privately for services. We talked about that at our last board meeting. The primary problem our seniors that are living on their own today are having are things to do with household maintenance. Who repairs the roof? What plumber do you get in touch with? How do you make sure you're not ripped off? Transportation. Many seniors can't and shouldn't be driving anymore. That's huge. How do we get a senior who's otherwise independent from one place to the other? Paying bills. And I don't mean from just a point of view of not being able to afford them. They can afford it, but perhaps they can't see well, or just managing their bills is overwhelming. So someone to put them in touch with that helps them write out their monthly bills, or comes out of, so they don't have to worry about that. How do you get food in the house? How do you do your banking? Those are the types of things we see in home health that I know is experienced all over the county and all over the country, in fact, with senior population. And that's what I like about HSOBC, is helping people get those resources. And to your point about financial funding, many people out there are blessed. There's some of us that are more financially blessed than others. I know I'm in a position where I'm able to give to a lot of charities, and I do that. I'm able to give to my church. What better way, if you are somebody that likes to give to charities, than to give to HSOBC and knowing those funds will stay here for the seniors and the citizens of Brevard County. It doesn't go all over. You don't have to worry about what happened to your money. We do not draw a salary, so there's no payment of HSOBC, folks. And I think a lot of people that give to charity worry about that. Well, my money's going to pay their salary. How much really of it goes to those people who are in need? Your funds 100% of the time will go to those community organizations that help those seniors. They don't go to the senior themselves, but if the senior needs agency XYZ to help them, and XYZ needs a little extra funding to provide that care, that's where HSOBC comes in. So I do urge people to give. It's no better way to keep it in our community.
About at a point in Brevard County history, we had a wonderful organization called Space Coast Center for Independent Living. And they had a bus program where they took veterans. And we have 75,000 veterans in Brevard County, Florida. And they took veterans to the VA clinic from any location in Brevard County, from their home to the clinic and back for $10. They lost their county funding. They lost their state funding. They couldn't fund the program. If our program was at the point where we hope we will be one day, not hope we will be one day, with our endowment, we could have overnight written them a check for $60,000 to keep that program going. That's one of the reasons why I'm a retired military person, and I'm sending a personal letter to 686 fellow veterans, most of them I know, to ask them to support this organization. There's nothing wrong with that. Years ago, I had a guy that got the dock out the second day after they opened the camp up after World War II. And he came into my office one day and he said, Joe, I saw such suffering there that I never want to see people suffer again. He said, if you'll start a program like we're talking about today, he said, I will commit $50 a month to that program the rest of my life. He's dead now. But I kept that image alive for all these years. So I think there's so many good things. We'll be talking about it more. We've got 1 minute left. Got a last quick thing either one of you want to say?
Yeah, I think there's something that's developing here with helping seniors of Brevard County, which may not be as important to you as it is to us. There's camaraderie among the group. And part of that has to do with the high level of representation that they have for everyone. And the fact that we're getting along so well and we're learning from each other is just going to make this organization soar.
Okay. Nancy, anything?
They say it takes a village to raise a child. I think the same for senior care. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here. So funding and education is the key, and HSOBC is the organization to do it.
Thank you both. Thank you both for being here. And I want to thank you for watching today's episode of Focus on Seniors. If you have a question or a comment, please call radio station WMEL AM 1300 at 321-631-1300. For more information on senior care and resources and what we're going to do with helping seniors of Brevard County, go to our website, helpingseniors.brevardcounty.com. It's going to be a wonderful organization, but it's going to be even more wonderful through your participation. Thank you for watching. And look at our other shows too.